Kelly Sadler is with us, America First Action PAC and former special assistant to the president. I want to talk about the Democrat debates, and I want to show you a poll.
Okay.
Not a great poll, but it's a poll.
Okay.
This is according to MoveOn.org. It's a straw poll. It shows that Senator Warren is ahead of both Sanders and Joe Biden by double digits. He's doubled their number. What do you mean? Well, that puts Elizabeth Warren way out front.
Hey, we welcome this. I mean, she represents the radical socialist party. I mean, and to be quite frank with you, okay, so she's proposed free college tuition, free, loan, basically the government will pay for your loan, free universal child care. She's for Medicaid for all. How are we going to pay for all of this stuff? The tax policy, the Tax Policy Center did an analysis of all of her plans and all of her proposals. And even if you tax the 1%, there still isn't enough money to cover the cost of all these programs. They're living in an alternative universe.
You're right across the board. You're absolutely right across the board. But if it does come down to Warren versus President Trump, if it does come down to that, I've got a sneaking feeling that on occasion, Elizabeth Warren gets under the president's skin. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think...
What, Pocahontas? I don't think so.
Do you think that expression, do you think that'll fly in a general election?
I mean, basically, she said she was Native American so she could get an advantage of getting into Harvard. And I think that is a fairness issue that a lot of people take issue with.
You think that if he repeated the Pocahontas jibe in the general election, would it go down as well as some of the other insults that he used last time?
Well, the Cook Political Report actually Amy Walter did an analysis on this. And since, the president has been going easy on Elizabeth Warren. And since he stopped kind of jabbing her and pointing out her issues, she has risen in the polls. So I think, as soon as she starts rising in the polls again, we'll see the combative nature of the president come out.
The theory is that if he'd have gone after her with the same intensity...
He hit her a little too early, and now she's risen. And so, but hey, he's a counterpuncher, and he is going to be able to defend his record on the economy. And, most Americans agree with what he's doing, the deregulations, the tax cuts. And if you look at all these proposals coming forward from the Democrat socialist wing, they're going to raise your taxes. We're not going to have the GDP growth that we've had. And there's just going to be more regulations and stacked on more regulations.
Now, earlier this morning, the president called into Mornings with Maria on this Fox Business Network. He pulled no punches, calling out the big tech companies. Roll tape on that, please.
These people are all Democrats. It's totally biased toward Democrats. If I announce tomorrow that I'm going to become a nice liberal Democrat, I would pick up 5 times more followers. I was picking up 100,000 followers every few days. And all of a sudden, and I'm much hotter now than I was a number of months ago. Then all of a sudden it stopped.
It seems like he's running against Google and Facebook and Twitter.
Well, this is a real issue with conservatives and those that lean conservative. The Media Research Center did a poll, and 65% of conservatives on social media feel like they're being discriminated against or that their voices are not being heard. Now, we know the White House just announced that they're going to have a social media summit in July where they're going to be talking about these issues. There's been a lot of hearings on Capitol Hill. Ted Cruz has been very vocal on this. The Senate Judiciary Committee is looking at this because these companies have a monopoly. And the president is right. They are left-leaning Democrats that own and kind of don't have any competition and have the censorship ability to see what voices that they want to have heard be echoed.
Well, I think the president's got a very good point, because these companies dominate the news and what we see as news and what is presented as opinion. And they just carve out no space for conservative opinion at all. I think the man's got a point.
I do, too.
Do you think he's going to sue them to break them up?
Oh, well, I mean, I think Maria showed this morning.
Threat in the background?
That's the threat, and I think one representative already is suing them, and but I think that we'll see legislation to make these markets and make these companies more competitive, and that's what's needed, and that's what the president recommended today.
You're feeling confident and strong in the president's campaign, aren't you?
I am. I'm feeling really good about it, and I'm excited about tonight's debates. I'm going to sit back, have some wine, eat some popcorn, and see what crazy ideas come out from the radical left.
I just have to ask you this. Would the president prefer to go up against Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, or Elizabeth Warren? And please don't say he doesn't care. I'm sure he does.
Well,
what's his preference?
You know, I think that he'd like to take on Joe Biden. Why not Sleepy Joe? He's not very energetic on the campaign field. He's been missing events in Iowa and California. His policy proposals seem he doesn't think China's a threat. And let's go after the middle-class worker and see who has that base of support, and it's the President of the United States.
So President Trump wants not Bernie, not Elizabeth Warren.
I think it'd be easier to run
Joe.
against Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, but let's have a real competition here and see who the winner is.
Okay, bring it on. Kelly Sadler, thank you very much indeed for
Thank
joining.
you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Check the big board.